friends, Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. I'm here to make a fun card with you today, and we're going to play with the Stamparatus. Now, I haven't used the Stamparatus on video for a long time, so I thought it was time to pull it back out, give you a bunch of tips for using it, and kind of show you the advantages of having it. So I don't use it all the time. I use it when I make multiples of things or when I do big stamps. And one of the stamps I'm using today in the stamp set is big, so the Stamparatus works perfect for it. So I have lots of tips, and then make sure you stick around all the way to the end of the video because I have other cards with the same stamp set that I want to share with you, plus a tip as to where I get some of my stamping ideas. Now, before I flip the camera down, just a quick reminder, make sure you show me some love by giving me a thumbs up or a heart, and make sure you subscribe. I come to you 3 times a week with quick and easy videos. I love to teach quick and easy stamping. You don't need a ton of stuff, you don't need a ton of time, and you can make handmade cards for your friends and family. So without further ado, let's go ahead, flip this camera down, and let's get started stamping today. I have lots to talk about today, but let's just get started with showing you the stamp set. It's called Everything Amazing. This might be one that didn't really catch your eye in the catalog. It didn't mine at first either, to be honest, but then I started playing with it and I can see lots of uses for it because there's lots of different words for lots of different occasions. You could make it male or female. You can have a lot of fun with this one. And we're going to concentrate on the Stamparatus today. Like I said, I have not used this in a while. I do when I'm doing big stamps or when I'm doing multiples, but for a lot of my everyday stamping, I don't use it. However, I know that a lot of you and a lot of stampers use it all the time. They prefer this over the clear blocks just because it's a little bit easier to handle. So, got tips for you. So we're going to go ahead and make the card and share tips as we go along. So let's dive in here. We've got a piece of purple posy cardstock. Now remember, this ink pad is not available yet, but the cardstock is, and it's so pretty, and I thought it would work perfect for my purple themed card. Now, I've already stuck onto my Stamparatus the amazing stamp, and so we're going to ink it up. You have to always do this upside down like so. Now, a couple advantages here. If I don't ink that up good, or I don't press good, let's just... There, I did it real lightly on purpose to show you, or I didn't press good. You know, if I don't get a good image for whatever the reason, you can always go back and do it again. That's one of the reasons people love the Stamparatus. Now, when you're stamping on colored cardstock as well, ink doesn't seem to stamp as well on it as the Whisper White. So again, the Stamparatus is perfect for cases like this. So make sure you always have your cardstock tight up there in the corner. Now you'll notice I'm not using the magnets. I tend not to unless it's a little tiny piece. As long as I keep it tight up there, it's going to stamp amazing, just like my stamp says. So this time we're going to give it a little bit more pressure. Like I said, with big stamps, this is what people really like because you're not trying to hold on to that big stamp to stamp. Now look at the nice image. Now it does appear that it's not stamped real full. That's the way that this particular stamp is. Now also, this one is the photopolymer. So in your Stamparatus, you need to make sure you have the foam mat because that kind of lifts the stamp up a little bit because we don't have the cushion that we do in the red rubber. And then I've got a piece of grid paper. You can buy pads of this now that is the exact same size as the Stamparatus. So that'll protect my mat if I was to stamp off the edge, which I'm really not here, but I'm just kind of in the habit of always having grid paper on there. So now we can go ahead and take this plate out and we can flip it over and use the back side, or I could peel this off, but I'm going to just grab a different plate. Now, if you're making multiples, this is the way you want to do it, is put your other stamps on another plate so that way we know this one's all set to go, and then we can just keep kind of switching these plates out. Now for our card, we're going to use the words, "You are an amazing," and then "friend." So we can stamp both of these at one time. So I'm going to just line those up. You can see through them because they're that photopolymer. And once again, keep your cardstock way up in the corner in case you need to restamp. So once they're lined up, just close your plate and you'll pick them up. Now the cardstock might stick. No big deal, but again, make sure you're always staying in this back corner. And then we can take our black. Now, once again, you know, like I said, the advantage here is being able to stamp multiple times if you don't get a good image the first time. But it looks like my black is nice and dark. And now I'll tell you, I am using the Memento pad. And in all honesty, I buy a brand new pad probably every 8 or 9 months. Now keep in mind, I stamp a lot. However, I just feel that black, even though you can re-ink them, after a while of re-inking, you just don't get that crisp black. So that's why I didn't have to do this. My old pad, I would have had to ink up and probably stamp about 3 times to make sure I had that really super nice crisp black. But once again, if I was doing multiples, now all I would have to do is put this plate back in, card in the corner, take that plate out, put this one in, and we're good to go because we know that everything is lined up for these. So we're going to go ahead and set this aside. And let's come back to the piece that I stamped, and I'm going to cut this out using the stitched label framelit. I know so many of you guys have picked this one up. It's part of the Bird Ballad bundle, but it really works with everything. It's probably my favorite die at the moment. Now, when I cut this out, I'm going to bring it as far over to the right as I can. I'm even letting just a little bit of that ink go underneath the die, and just kind of eyeballing it that I'm straight. So I'll go ahead and run this through the Big Shot. There we go. Now, I said I did run it through my Big Shot. Keep in mind that Stampin' Up! No longer carries that product. So any die cutting machine will work if you don't have that one, even though I know a lot of you have the Big Shot. Otherwise, any die cutting machine our dies will fit in. You just have to figure out the correct sandwich for it. So now that we have this piece die cut, what I'm going to do is grab my paper cutter. And once again, this is a product that Stampin' Up! Does not carry, but you can use any paper cutter that you have. Speaking of paper cutters, we currently aren't carrying one, but you can expect one coming sometime in the next few months. We'll have a paper cutter again, and I'm sure it'll be amazing because Stampin' Ups always are. But I'm going to cut this right-hand edge off, and I want to make sure I have it over far enough. You can see there. That'd be a fun triangle to use on something, that I cut off so that it's nice and flush there. So that is the piece for my card. Now we're going to do a little bit more stamping. I have a 5.5 by 2 inch strip of Whisper White, and I'm going to grab that same pad that was in the Stamparatus along with the grid sheet on top of it. Because again, we're using the photopolymer stamps. You should always have some sort of cushion or pad underneath, and this works perfect. Or the paper piercing pad works awesome as well. So on our strip, we're going to just stamp some hearts. And I have Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. Remember, Gorgeous Grape we stamped there. So we're going to take this heart and we're going to just stamp really randomly on this strip. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do the Highland Heather and stamp some of these randomly as well. And, you know, when you're stamping random, make sure you always let them come off the edge of the paper. That really makes your random stamping appear more random. Let's see, let's add a few more in here. Now, you know, it doesn't really look full enough to how I want this card to be. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's do the little confetti stamp to go in as well. And let's just clean off the stamp. Right here, I have my chamois. Okay, I have it all wet. I like to keep it in a stamp case because then my surface doesn't get wet. And you just wipe it off. If you haven't used a chamois yet for cleaning your stamps, this one I just cleaned, even though it looks horrible, but it's my favorite way to clean stamps. It's just water, get it good and wet, wring it out the best you can, and your stamps will just wipe off clean on there. So let's take that off, and we will put our confetti on here. And I'm thinking we're going to just fill in with some confettis because I wanted this to look nice and full. Off the edges. There, that looks better. Okay, let's put those aside. See, good thing I had the scrap paper because we were going off the side there. And then I have a piece of that Highland Heather cardstock, and we're going to use our liquid adhesive, and I'm going to put just a little bit. Remember, don't use too much along that side, and we will glue this onto here like so. And you can see it's not as long as my white. I wanted different lengths there. You want just a little bit of it sticking out. And then I have a Gorgeous Grape base here, and we will go ahead and use the same adhesive. And let's stick that right on there like so. And then when you cut your cardstock, if you ever have pieces hanging off, and you can see, if I flip it over, you can see it more, a piece a little bit longer like that, which happens all the time when I'm stamping, I go ahead and I just put this in my paper cutter and I trim that off to make it flush with my card base. So let me do that a sec. Okay, and then let's take our piece that we already stamped and cut out. We will put some dimensionals. Okay. Gotta use lots of dimensionals. I think that's a must in my stamping world. And stick those on here and we'll peel them off. You know, it's rare that I ever have a card that doesn't have at least one layer, if not more, popped up with dimensionals. You know, it's one of those things that can make your simple stamping, quick and easy stamping, whatever you want to call it, really look nice. Just adds that special touch. So we're going to go ahead and stick that on like so. Leave a little bit of the gorgeous grape showing. And there is our card. Now, since we did use dark on the inside, you know, our card base is the dark gorgeous grape, we're going to have to put a piece of 4 by 5¼ inside so we have a place to write on. And then we want to make sure we stamp on it. So let me grab that and we'll stamp this to coordinate with what we did on the front. So let's just stamp some of the gorgeous grape hearts like so. And then let's see, we need to clean off our confetti so we can use this block. Peel that one off. And let's put this one on so we can do some Highland Heather hearts in here. Now I'm not going to put any words on the inside because this would be more designed to, you know, just write a note to a friend, or you could put something inside if you want to, but we'll just go ahead and adhere that in like so. There is our first card. Now let me share a couple other ones that I made with this same stamp set. And this just, it's so fun because you can use any colors. So this really could be a masculine card if you needed a birthday card. You could do this in blues and greens, whatever color you want. And again, there's the inside stamped the same way that we have the piece on there. You'll do amazing things. Again, this could be a congratulations. It could be birthday. It could be graduation. It could be whatever. And there's the 3 different cards. Aren't they fun together? Now you'll notice on here, I added some of the little embellishments. Let's grab those and put those on this one as well. These are the glitter enamel dots. And you can see how I added 3 onto each card. It just adds that extra little piece. Whoops. I've got my take a pick tool here that has like a piercing end on it. And this is what I like to use to pick up these. Now some people like the spatula end. We could flip that over and do that one too. I guess I'm so used to using see, that one to me doesn't go under quite as easy. I'm so used to using that piercing end. So let's switch back to that one. Because I've always used a paper piercer for this. So whatever works best for you. Let's put that one right there. So you see, it just adds that extra special little touch. Now, before I let you go, I want to show you something else. Here is our catalog. Now, first off, if you don't have a catalog and you don't have a demonstrator, let me know. I'd love to send you a catalog. But let's go ahead and flip this to page 20. This is where I found the stamp set, and this is where I got my idea for the card. You know, the catalog is so filled with ideas, and there is no shame in copying. Stampin' Up! Puts out this gorgeous catalog, you know, and idea book. It's, you know, better than any magazine you're going to find out there for ideas. But this will show you where I got my idea from. This added a little bit more cardstock on that than I did, but the basic card is the same. So there we go. We have 3 amazing cards today. So I hope you enjoyed this. Now hop on over to the website because I will have a list over there of all of the supplies that I used along with the card recipes so that if you would like to make these, you can make them. And if you need to order any products, I truly appreciate it when you select me to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So I'm here to help you with all your stamping needs. Questions, I love them. I love to help you. So email me, message me, leave me a comment, however you want to contact me. I'm here for you and here to teach you quick and easy stamping. So until I stamp with you again, have a stamp happy day.